Yes, good evening, viewers, and once again, welcome to Afrique 24. And I hope that you're having a good morning and good evening if you are in America and other places where you are watching Afrique 24. And before we begin this particular show, I hope that you will subscribe to the channel so that we can read your comments down here on Afrique. Today, I am going to talk about the politics that have just happened in the last 24 hours and what is your take on the issues that are happening in our country. And it is interesting that most political viewers or political analysts don't really look at the in-depth of the politics that is happening, especially with the now officially launched alliance between Raila Amolo Odinga and William Samoei Ruto. And now the broad-based government is really trying hard to get their things together, while we have this other coalition of Kalonzo Azimio, of Kalonzo, Eugene Mainmalwa, and other Jubilee members, people like Martha Karua, and the rest. But currently, the political landscape in Nairobi is taking shape. Notably absent during the president's tour is the senator for Nairobi. I remember just a few days ago, he was the one who was reading the agreement between ODM and UDA. But on this particular occasion, the Secretary General and the Senator for Nairobi did not appear in the presidential uh, tour of Nairobi. That is a very, very important signal that things are not right. Now, this handshake between Raila Odinga and William Ruto, you also saw in what happened in Gusii Stadium, for instance, when Baba for the first time was echoed in his stronghold. And that is quite a bit of, a bit of embarrassment to once a celebrated and, a celebrated leader within the region, and especially when you are having your governor, Simba Arati, you are being echoed. But again, we look at why these things are happening this way, especially in areas where ODM and Baba enjoyed support. This alliance has had its own issue. For instance, I've told you that Senator Sifuna was missing, Babu Owino was missing, Tim Wanyonyi was missing. They were conspicuously absent without any apologies. Now, what are the key issues that are emerging within the parties, the political parties? Are these are people happy with the alliance between Raila Odinga and William Samoei Ruto? The answer is no, not majority are happy, especially people in UDA are complaining silently. They have not come out strongly to say that we don't want this alliance. But in ODM, it's already clear that Babu Owino will go his way, and Sifuna might also follow his Babu Owino's footsteps. So we are going to see a lot of shifts in uh, in the political parties. But remember, ODM is still the most dominant party in Nairobi politics. For example, they have a constituency in Westland, Roysambu. We have UDA. The MP there is one guy called Commander. In Kasarani, we have somebody called Ronald Karauri. Karauri is a first-time MP, and he took the Kasarani seat. He's doing a wonderful job in Kasarani, and I think he's going to come back. And in Roraka, Kajwang has been there. Tom Kajwang has been there, ODM, for a very long time. Kamkunji Yusuf has retained his seat for most of the time. That is Jubilee. And in Embakasi Central, Benjamin Gadiru, UDA, and Embakasi East, of course, Babu Owino. And Embakasi West is Mark Mwenje, Jubilee. Embakasi North is UDA, Gakuya. And we have Embakasi South, Julius Mwade, Embakasi South. Then we also have Langata. Langata here we have Jalango, Felix Jalango, leading in the Langata Brigade, ODM Aladwa. Aladwa was present, and Aladwa is the chairman for ODM Nairobi. He was president in the presidential tour. And remember, if you watch those clips, I'll be playing them in a short while. You could hear the echoes when people heckling Aladwa when he was given a chance to speak. Now we have also Star MP Amos Mwango. Madare, we have Anthony Luoch. Anthony Luoch, there is some issues in Anthony Luoch constituency, which I will share with you. Before Baba went to Kisii Stadium, he was attending he was attending an MCA in Anthony Luoch constituency, who lost the mother, and may her soul rest in peace in Migori. So Anthony Luoch never attended that particular MCA's funeral. And in ODM politics, that guy is the next MP for Madare, or the guy will be given the ODM ticket. Anthony Oluoch has been missing in most of the ODM functions, and he could be on his way out. Kibra, this is, of course, Tom Morero, ODM, and Agoreti North, Elachi. South is Kiarie, who will be battling it out with maybe an ODM candidate. Now, I don't know how this is going to play out, but you viewers out there, if you're watching us for the first time, make sure that you like, subscribe, and are free. If you're watching us on other platforms like Mutembei TV and the rest, please make sure that you subscribe and follow us on Afrique 24 for this comprehensive analysis that we'll be bringing for you. Now, let us look at the presidential tour and why it was necessary immediately after what happened in Gusii Stadium. For Baba handlers, I mean, guys, you need to respect this mzee. Baba, I don't know who is in charge of Raila Odinga's diary, but you cannot tell Raila, somebody of Raila Odinga's status cannot go to Gusii Stadium just to launch a uniform. And again, they are now in the broad-based government. There should have been intelligence to tell the former prime minister that, hey, this ground is a bit hostile. Don't even attempt to go. So that intelligence failed, and that is what that was an embarrassment. And again, when you look at the Kisii politics, there's a lot of silence going on in Kisii politics. They did not get what they wanted in this broad-based arrangement, where Raila Odinga appointed Mbadi and the likes into the cabinet. So they didn't get exactly what they wanted. And again, when it came to party leadership, Simbarati was seen as somebody who could take over leadership of the ODM political movement. But again, he still remains a deputy in the party. So there is a lot of pulling, and I don't blame Baba, because everybody wants to get positions in the party. But one thing I want to say is that they need to look at the transition between this old generation and the new young generation, and who are vibrant, who are coming in. Otherwise, some of the seats that I've told you and I've shown you here on Afrique, Tim Wanyonyi, remember Tim Wanyonyi has been the MP for Westlands for a very long time. And last general election, he wanted to be the gubernatorial candidate for the ODM party. And he was told not to vie because of that gentleman. would come in Igadi. So Tim Manyonyi has shelved his ambition, but again, just recently, Baba endorsed Sakaja. And most likely, Sakaja is going to move to ODM and vie on an ODM ticket. That is what we are speculating because of the movement we have seen Sakaja doing. And even if you look at the number of legislators in the county assembly of Nairobi, majority of them are ODM members of parliament. But now there is one thing about 2022 election that is a bit different from what we are seeing after the Gen Z politics. A lot of shift. The usual tribal politics that used to be in Nairobi is no longer taking shape. With people like Alado who used to control the Luya vote, that is slowly dying. If you go back to Western region, you see the way the likes of Mudavadi and the speaker, they have kind of taken a back seat on this issue of broad-based government, and they are not really excited since the new kid on the block, that is Raila Odinga, and his party came into to UDA. So a lot is going to happen. A lot is going to happen, but notably when you see the likes of Babu Owino. Babu Owino controls a good number of supporters, especially the youth and the college-going students. This is a massive Gen Z support, and Sifuna knows about it. Wanyonyi, I think he has already gotten wind about it too, that they could as well, call it a day with the Orange Democratic Movement. If they are not going to get nominated on the party, they've already built a brand for themselves. Sifuna has built a brand for himself. Babu Owino the same. They seem to be principled and they are following what Kenyans are saying on the ground. The Kenya Kwanza political movement is not very, very popular at this moment. When I'm telling you, I am telling you things that are happening on the ground, and I can assure you that if elections were held today and Ruto got a good candidate to challenge him, I would lose the election. The one thing, because of Kikuyu vote, Luya vote, Kisi vote is going, and generally Kenyans are not happy. There's some mistakes this government is doing, and I don't know whether they realize it, and they keep on repeating it as if we are so blind and we don't see what is happening. Like going to give the church 20 million, surely. Yani you walk into church, unatoa 20 million, then the next moment, the next day, I don't know, after all that has happened, then you see your CS for interior also with another bundle of money donating. And listen, guys, church is important. It's very, very important. But the congregants who attend these churches, they need jobs, they need food on the table, they need something to do, and the church does not give them that. The church does not give them that. The church gives you hope and a spiritual nourishment. The church, when you go to church, it will not give you a job. They'll pray for you and you'll work hard. The government needs to separate the church with its activities. But people have not known why these leaders are excited about going to give donations to the church. I want to tell you one. For a politician, it is easier to manage a congregation. And this is a congregation being managed in, if William Ruto donates 20 million or 100 million in a church. Remember, that pastor will be preaching about the development in the government throughout the year until election time. Any new member who is coming to church will know that that particular pastor is indeed going to vote for William Ruto. Now, if you go to Central, the scenario is the same. You see Gachagua in churches each and every time. But I like what is happening in Central because, one, I don't see this issue of giving cash, and people celebrating the amount that has been given. If they're giving it silently. So I urge politicians, even if you are to donate to God, God will know that William Ruto, you donated 20 million without telling us that, showing us on camera that you have donated so much. That can be between you and your God and the pastor. Yeah, so later on they can inform the congregants that, the president donated so much. But this kind of show off, you see it a lot in Rift Valley. And people are wondering because we are wallowing in poverty. Where is this money coming from? That is what people are asking. Where is this money coming from? So when we get answers where this money is coming from, then we will be glad that, you are building the church. But I wish that that money could go into renovating all the classes in Baringo, or, digging a bowl to provide clean water in this primary school. That is something that a president can do. I remember I envy, I used to admire the likes of Magufuli. When Magufuli would drive in Tanzania, he would stop somewhere and say, ile hii soko haina choo, wapi the one who is in charge? Wapi the one who is in charge? Haya, shika hizi hela, nataka hii choo itengenezwe na kesho unipatie ripoti by Monday hii choo ikuwe imemalizika. Ama maji, wapi wale wanahusika na taasisi ya mazingira, mambo ya maji, mambo ya barabara, they would be called there and things would be done. And I think that is the way we African leaders need to behave. When you find something, then you solve it immediately. I want us to watch a bit of what happened in Isli when the president was touring that area.
Tusafishe Nairobi River, tujenge nyumba 50,000 ya social housing ya watu wa chini.
Now, if you grew up in Isili, or if you know Isili the way I do, Isili are one of those estates that the sewer system was working properly. There were proper roads then. Between the 80s and the 90s, there were very, very nice roads in Isili. Everything was working. There were no high-rise buildings in Isili. The Somali communities, when I was growing up and I went to school there, you could know the families. They could not be more than 10 Somali families in Isili when we were growing up. Then came the Somali war, and Kenya gave them, a refugee. Gave them a place to stay, those who were running away from the war in Somalia. So one family called, who was a warlord, the Aidid family came and settled somewhere in Isili. Others settled in South Sea. And today is what you see of Isili. Isili is now predominantly Muslim. They elect their own MP and MCS in that particular area. Now, when the president is talking about a sewer system within Isli, the designs of those buildings, there were no proper planning or in Isli because of corruption in the city council. some of these buildings they have to come down at some point, because the sewer system initially has to be dismantled completely to accommodate the population that is there at the moment. So this is one area that I think Kenya, as much as we are building roads and all that, this initiative of a sewer system in this particular area would serve the population very well. Even water. Just the other day, I saw one of the clips that, the time bomb that is in Nairobi right now is that we depend on water from central province. And the central province, if they cut supply of Nairobi, the governors on that end say that, hey, you guys, we have been giving you water, you need to pay something from whatever we have been supplying you. That will be some good revenue for counties that are in central that supply Nairobi with the water. So that is an area that people, they have not started exploring, and I'm sure it will be a contentious issue in the next few years or few months to come, the issue of water, because population of Nairobi is growing. And now that we have given amnesty to refugees to come to our country, and then again, the issue of housing will be on demand. The sewer system has to be perfect. The roads have to be increased, or things like that. The market. Now initially we used to have a silly market. I don't know if you're watching Africa, wherever you are. In Isili, we used to have a market called Isili Market. I don't know whether it's still there, Isili Market. I don't know whether it's still there. By the time I was there, it's like somebody had grabbed that market. Kenyans are so notorious. Somebody had grabbed the Isili Market, and they don't have a market anymore. We had a market called the Isili Market, well built, ikona kila kitu. You'd go there, buy anything, groceries, anything that you wanted. But today, as we speak, that market is not there. So some of these things, I can tell you, the president has got some goodwill to improve some of these areas, but his government is not popular among the people. This election that is coming, it's not really, I'm not saying that it's about development. It is more about corruption that is happening in government. The biggest issue for us would be where these leaders are getting this kind of money. That is one of the big issues that Kenyans will be looking at. Hii pesa mnatoa wapi? And kama mnaitoa wapi, mbona musipeleke ili isaidie Wakenya kwa njia ile inayofaa, na ili hali wananchi wenyewe tuko maskini hohehae. Hawa viongozi wana hela nyingi sana za kuharibu. Kuja kwa hizi mkutano zao, utapata ni pesa mingi sana zinatumika katika hizi hafla ama hizi mkutano. So sisi kama Wakenya tunahimiza serikali ya William Ruto izingatie kwanza ajira ya vijana. Hiyo ni kitu ya kwanza vijana wanaangalia. Mambo ya ukabila, siasa ya ukabila imeisha, Mr. President, na wale wanasema sisi kama jamii ya Waluya pale Nairobi, rafiki yangu George, hiyo ni siasa ambayo inaenda kama inaisha. Sasa sisi watu wanataka kuangalia huduma umefanya nini kwa wananchi. Na hii siasa itabaki kwa wale wakereketi ama wale wanazingatia vyama vya ukabila. Hii group inaitwa Gen Z, wakiingia pale au wanaingia kuangalia sera yako na kuangalia ni watabadilishaje uongozi pale bungeni, ili tuwe na viongozi wale wanamakinika na wanajua kile kimewaleta pale bungeni. So hii siasa ya kuinuliwa mkono hiyo imeisha. Ukiona wananchi wanakosoa baba Raila Amolo Odinga, ukijua wewe pia utakosolewa huko mbele. So William Ruto alikuwa na wakati ngumu sana, au viongozi pia walikuwa na wakati ngumu sana kuambia wananchi, je, wamefanya kazi gani? Wamefanyia wananchi kazi gani? Na niliwaambia mtu kama Sifuna, wakati wengine nilisema when Sifuna alikuwa anaandika ile mkataba, ama alikuwa anasoma zile mkataba kati ya UDA na ODM, kuna ile kitu tunaita body language, na kuna ile nguo rasmi unafaa kuvaa kwa ile hafla muhimu kama hiyo. Vile uliona the body language na nini, hiyo kitu hawakuchukulia maanani kabisa, na ni kama mtu aliambiwa lazima usome hii, wewe lazima usome hii. Sasa leo akaonyesha yenyewe niliwasomea hii mkataba za tutafanya kazi na bwana Ruto, lakini mimi roho yangu haijakubali. Ile mlikuwa mnaona pale ilikuwa ni mwili tu, lakini kwa akili na kwa roho mimi mwenyewe siko. Kwa hiyo ndio maana unaona Sifuna akianza kila wakati kutubia wananchi, anaanza mimi ni Edwin Sifuna. Mimi ni Edwin Sifuna. Anataka kujitambulisha kama Edwin Sifuna. Na wakati mwingine pia unaangalia body language na hata vile watu wanaketi katika hizi masherehe, ndio najua nini inaendelea katika hii siasa. Kuna siasa, kuna vitu mingi sana zinaendelea kwa hii siasa, but saa hii vile vitu ziko, sioni kama bwana Raila na bwana Ruto wataendelea sana na hii mkataba wao. Sioni kabisa, sioni, kwa sababu naona kule Western hakutakuwa kuzuri sana. Kule Western hakutakuwa kuzuri sana. Ntembea akiweza kuunganisha jamii ya Waluya, yani Mlembe Nation. Waluya wako dialects wengi sana, lakini wakiweza kuungana pamoja, then tunaongea juu ya kabila lingine tena, ile namba 2 katika Kenya na katika idadi ya watu ama wapigaji kura. Namba 1 ni Wakikuyu, namba 2 ni Waluya, namba 3 itakuwa ni Wakale, namba 4 Wajaluo, namba 5 Wakamba, namba 6 Wasomali pale. William Ruto alikuwa pale Wasomali, hiyo kura anahitaji sana, ndio maana unaona William Ruto ameenda pale Somali. Na ukae ukijua, anawakumbusha mimi ndio ule William Ruto nilitoa order ya kuwa vetting ya ID isimamishwe, isisitishwe sana kule Northeastern. So anaangalia hii Somali block sana kwa makini, na siasa zimeanza za 2027. So kama wewe bado unaongojea utakuwa pande gani, wewe tafadhali uanze kujitambulisha mapema ya kuwa wewe hauko pande ya mrengo wa Kenya Kwanza, wewe uko pande ya Azimio. Kuna hii Azimio Alliance, but mimi kama mzalendo ningewaambia kwa maoni yangu, unaweza ifuata, unaweza ipuuza. Tungekuwa tunatafuta kiongozi na kama tunapenda nchi yetu. Hii ndio maoni yangu. Kama tunapenda nchi yetu, kama tuipendi, kama unapenda kabila yako, kama unataka kukula, we ingia Kenya Kwanza, juu wako kwa serikali, kuna vitu za kukula. Lakini kama unapenda nchi yako, hivi ndio naambia wale wote wanasimama, iwe ni Matiang'i, iwe ni Maraga, iwe ni Kalonzo, iwe ni Wajakoya, wale wote wanasimama katika hii kiti, na wale vijana pia wamejitokelezea kama kina Morara, Kibaso na nani. Nimeona kuna nia ya kuungana pamoja, na hiyo nia ni mzuri sana, kwa sababu msipoungana pamoja mtaenda kushindwa katika uchaguzi wa 2027. Hii uchaguzi ya 2027 ni uchaguzi rahisi sana kwa wale wako kwa upinzani, kwa sababu hii serikali wamejaribu kuleta sana mambo ya kikabila. Kuna jamii sitaitaja sana, nimeona wakisukumwa kabisa ya kuwa hao ndio wameleta hii shida yote. But mimi naangalia ni kama ni mambo ya corruption, serikali yako iko corrupt. Kama ni ile mjadala waliandikana kule tukiona pale KICC, watu wa ODM na Kenya Kwanza, ukiangalia zile mapointers zile walikuwa wamesema mambo ya corruption haitaji kabisa watu waandikane chini. Mambo ya corruption mnaandikiana chini ya nini? Mambo ya corruption hiyo ni kitu uko kwa serikali, na mko kwa serikali mmeungana pamoja, si amfai kutuambia huko ati muandikana chini ati sasa sisi mambo ya corruption tutaitatua. Tuangalie mambo ya corruption, mambo ya vijana kuuawa ovyo ovyo tumeandika chini that itaisha kwa hii serikali. Hii ilikuwa ni kupoteza wakati na kutupotezea nafasi. Kama bwana Raila na bwana Ruto wameungana na hizo ndio vitu wanataka kutatua, wako kwa serikali, watu waambie sisi vile tuliingia kwa hii broad based government, wale watoto 70 wale waliwawa tushawapatia angalau familia zao fidia ya kitu kidogo wamepata. Haya, hii mambo ya ukabila inaendelea ya nepotism katika serikali. Sasa unaona watu wanaandikwa kazi vizuri na nini. Mambo ya corruption, angalia ule jamaa alishikwa na mamilioni kadhaa, huyu MP wa Garissa wa huko Northeastern, unaona mileage ile ana claim na ile salary tunalipa ma MP, apart from hiyo 1 million bado wanatuibia inafika 2 million on mileage allowances. Kuna ujinga mingi sana, but anyway, wacha nikaribisha rafiki yangu tena mkareketi wa siasa na mchambulizi wa siasa, na amekuwa katika hii kuchambua siasa na kupenda nchi yake kama Mkenya mzalendo. Cairo, Kenya maandamano kamili. Karibu sana Afrika, na tusalimie na utuambie hisia zako, unaona kivipi, tunaelekea wapi Kenya hii? Karibu sana.
Thank you very much mzalendo. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, ma'am.
Na Wakenya wenzangu, comment section, everybody wherever you are. Hatutalala na hatutanyamaza. And the thing I want to put is that I'm not a politician, mzalendo. Mimi ni mzalendo, mzaliwa wa Kenya ambaye anapenda nchi yake. Politicians tumewachukia, na kwa hivyo sitaki kuchukiwa mimi. Mimi naongea ukweli wa mambo, naongea yale inahusu watu wa Kenya, yale ambayo inaweza saidia wa Kenya, na hata yale ambayo tunaweza endelea kutengeneza nchi yetu. In fact, it's nice that you are talking about corruption, you are talking about tribal. Hii kitu mzalendo, kusema kweli, huwa inaletwa na hawa watu wachache tu. Wananchi hata hawakuagi wanakumbuka habari ya tribes. Wao huwa wanaendelea na kazi zao kabisa, wanasaidiana. Mkikuyu anapatia Mjaluo maji, Mjaluo anapatia Mkalenjini maji, Mkalenjini anapatia Mbaluya maji, and so on and so forth. Hakuna kitu kama hicho. In fact, these are the people who brings that to people's mind. Na wao hawaleti kwa nia nzuri, wanaleta tu kwa sababu wanaona ati kwa sababu wale watu pahali fulani hawataki huo ujinga, nitauita ujinga ama uongo. Wanaona sasa mbinu yao ni kutumia ukabila. And by the way, nataka kukuuliza mzalendo, Central, hakuna Wajaluo?
Wako.
Hakuna Wakalenjin?
Wako.
Hakuna Wakisii?
Wako.
Haya, huko Nyanza hakuna Wakikuyu?
Wako.
Hakuna Wakalenjin, Wabaluya, hata Coast? Wako tu pahali kwa nchi, kwa sababu nchi ni yao. Na watu wanajua nchi ni yao, huko ni kwao Kenya. Si ati wameenda Burundi ama Uganda ama Tanzania. They are still in their country, whichever corner they go. So these are the people who create this enmity. Now Kenya, in fact, this time, tusome na Gen Z, vile walisema they are tribeless, they are leaderless, all that kind of a thing. Because what I believe is that kuna mambo ambayo hatuwezi kutoanisha. Mtu kuwa Mkikuyu ama kuwa Mjaluo ama Mkalenjin ama Mbaluya, watu waliumbwa na Mungu. Can you imagine somebody coming to say that ati hao ni Wakikuyu, hao ni Wajaluo, hawa ni Wakamba, hawa ni Wakalenjin? Who are you? And furthermore, kuna watu ambao wamezeekea hiyo Kenya, na bahati mbaya ama bahati nzuri tu, kwa sababu lazima watu watakufa, wametuondokea. Wazee wametuondokea. Waliacha nchi wakisema nini? Wakisema tulikuwa tunaishi na Kamau na Kipchumba. Mwingine alikuwa anaishi na Njoroge na Otieno. And they were rhyming, they were friends. But why are these people bringing that tactics? Unajua hiyo ni tactic ingine wanatumia ya kutawanya watu, kugawanyisha, ndio ati aonekane kuna kitu anasema. Kwa nini usiseme habari ya maendeleo rather than talking about tribes? Uende upeleke maendeleo kwa Wabukusu. Kama wewe ni Mkalenjin, peleka maendeleo kwa Wakikuyu ndio wakupende. Peleka maendeleo kwa Wajaluo ndio wakupende. Wacha mambo ya kutumia njia ambayo ni ya kuharibu watu vichwa ndio waanze kupigana, because they are the cause of all these fights. Hii civil wars ambazo huwa zinatokea hazitokagi pahali ingine, si wananchi. In fact, people come to realize that anaishi huyo ni Mjaluo anaishi na Kamau. Sasa hiyo ndio wanakuja kurealize ati huyo anaitwa Kamau ama anaitwa Otieno. Oh, those others years past, they didn't know that. They were not aware of that. Ni kuamushwa, wanaamushwa, wanaambiwa mambo mabaya, wanawekwa mambo mabaya na watu wachache. Na in fact, when you fight, you neighbors, wao hawako. Nani wanaumia? Ni nyinyi tu mnajiumiza. So this thing, Kenyans should look very seriously. When somebody talk about tribal, muangalieni hivi na macho, muambie we, hapana, mimi hiyo sitaki. Lete mambo ingine, tuambie kile utatufanyia, tuambie maendeleo ile utafanya Kenya, lakini usituletee habari ya kututenganisha. Because we have lived now, and let me tell you mzalendo, in fact, even when people fight, they still remember ati, nimepiga Otieno, akina huyo Otieno ndio alikuwa amepeleka mtoto wangu hospitali siku ingine. Nimepiga Njoroge, na huyo mtu siku ingine alinikuta barabarani akanibeba. You see how people are? Unaanza kukumbuka kitendo kizuri huyo mtu alikufanyia, lakini nani amekufanya umkimbize na ukamuumiza ama hata ukamuua? Ni huyu mtu ambaye hata kuwa hapo. And in fact, if you are arrested, taken to court, you killed somebody, he will not come for you. He will be busy doing other things. He will not be there to help you. So Kenyans need to learn. And Kenyans need to know that Tribal does not mean anything to us. And we should be that way. We should agree that we are born Kenyans and we are going to live in Kenya. As we have found ourselves with our neighbors, we are going to live that way. Sababu huyo neighbor, in fact, hajachukua kitu yangu. Hata hizo vitu huwa tunaambiwa ati sijui, you know, mzalendo, wacha nikukumbushe kitu ingine. Huko Narok, kuna sehemu moja ilikuwa inaitwa Mau Narok. Na watu walipigana sana huko na Wamasai. Wamasai walienda wakaambiwa ati Wakikuyu waliwadanganya wakachukua mashamba yenu. And I'm telling you, Wakikuyu kusema kweli wako na title ya hizo mashamba. Hao Wamasai already walikuwa wameuza na wamekula pesa. But somebody somewhere rose up and said, hii mashamba hamkuuza. Ikawa hiyo title inaitwa ni karatasi uko nayo, ondoka. And in fact, Kenyan Kikuyus were chased out of that area. Legally owning that land, they were chased out of that area. I was a victim. My parents were victims. Tulitoka huko, na the moment tulitoka tumebeba vitu kidogo, ndio sasa turudi tuende tukachukue mbao na nini ndizo tubebe tukajenge pandi ile tumehamia. Tukakuta hizo manyumba zote zimechomwa. So I'm talking of something that I have experienced. So hiyo ni mtu aliakisha huo moto, na alipoakisha hakuwa huko, alikuwa Nairobi. Wamasai wakapigana na Wakikuyu for no reason. For no reason, just to be told ati hizo mashamba zenu mulipatia Wakikuyu. You need to get them back. Mumasai hakujiuliza, mimi nilikula pesa ya hii shamba na nikauza. How can I go back and do that? But because they were being backed up, wanasaidiwa na wanawekwa huo msoso, they had to run for it. And they went and wakawanyang'anya. So what I'm trying to say is that I'm giving an example of how these politicians are so crude. They are so bad. They are so dangerous when they start using that kind of tribal card, because they will put people who are maliciously ready to be told, sa, kama ile umbwa kali, waanze vituko. And that is what has been happening in Kenya. Kwani tutasoma mara ngapi hii mambo na hawa watu? We shouldn't be listening to this. In fact, live with your neighbor, because your neighbor is whom you know. These politicians are just there for a season and then they will go. Huyo neighbor yako mmesaidiana, endeleeni kuishi pamoja, because you did not, it was not a coincidence kukutana. Hiyo ni mpango ya Mungu, kwa sababu nani huyo anatoka Central anaenda mpaka huko kwa Kalenjin kununua shamba? Si anaona ni watu wa Kenya na ni watu wanatakiwa kusikizana. They will love each other because wewe umeniuzia, umepata kile ulikuwa unataka, na mimi nimepata kile. A willing seller and a willing buyer. Yeah. And that is how
Kenya manda kamhalo kamili. Sorry to interject. Unaona, you know, this topic of tribalism and how these politicians take us for granted. You know, when we went to fight each other, to kill each other in 2007, it is the international community that came and rescued us. Do you remember the Kriegler report and the 8 pointers that the Kenyan government were told that they must implement? They must implement before they go to any other election. Otherwise, this country is going to burn. And my second question to you would be, you know, what is the leadership of William Ruto and Raila Odinga since they're together? What are they doing about tribalism? Because tribalism, we are seeing people fueling, playing the tribal card in their discussions. We are seeing leaders talking about tribalism. and they are not there. We also have a body called the National Cohesion and Integration Commission that is supposed to look at what politicians are saying, what they are saying, and they need to summon those who are, talking ill about other communities. Yeah. What are they doing? What are these leaders doing? That is the main issue. What are these leaders doing? And why are you wasting a lot of time? Saizi wamekuja na hii kitu inaitwa NADCO report. NADCO is just a replica of the Kriegler 8 pointers. There is nothing new in the NADCO report. What do you think, Kenya maandamano kamili?
Mzalendo, when people are really the one causing the problem or bringing the tribal card, they will try to camouflage themselves with different ideas while they know they are the one bringing all those problems. Sahi wa Kenya, kusema kweli, hawana hata sijasikia jinsi wanasema habari ya tribal. These are the people who are trying to divide people. And they are dividing while they know they are the leader. They are in the leadership. Na mtu ambaye anaongoza, huyo ndio huwa anasema, we don't want tribal. Na acheze huo mchezo vizuri akijua si tribal. But when you start segregating people and telling people, wameanza kusema, wameanza kucheza mchezo wa tribal, being a leader, what are you telling people? You are trying to show them that there is a tribal going on, but you are responsible of it, kwa sababu wewe kama kiongozi, wewe ndio unatakiwa kufanya nini? Kuimaliza hiyo tribal. Na utaimaliza aje? By you being an example. But look at Ruto. Honestly speaking, wa Kenya, angalieni Ruto. Muniambie, yeye anaweza kuwa sio tribal awe nini? Mtu ambaye ameandika watu wa kabila yake from A to Z. Let's start there. Let's forget about outside, because outside people can be, I am a Kikuyu and I will never change. Mzalendo, you are whatever you are, you will never change. The only thing that changes is our relationship, me and you, and how we term each other. That is the only thing that can change. Lakini hii mambo ya kutuambia tribal, he is the one who is responsible of finishing tribal in Kenya. And how can he finish? By stopping talking about tribal. Wewe ndiwe mfano wa tribal na unataka ati watu wasiwe tribal. People are not tribal, actually. He is trying to cover up what he has done and what he is continuing to do. He is the one who is segregating people, and he is the one going each and every corner, talking about Somali, talking about Meru, talking about Luya, talking about Luo. He is the one doing it. Na wacha nikwambie Mzalendo, if this guy is not going around campaigning, akae kwa ofisi vile president huwa anakaa kwa ofisi, adelegate, apeane directives kwa wadogo wake, these things would not be happening. Because that is one thing of avoiding people understanding who you are and what you are aiming to do. Kwa sababu akishatoka lazima afanye kama yeye. Na akikaa kwa ofisi afanye kazi yake bila kutoka nje, aongoje mpaka siku ya campaign ifike ndio aanze campaign. It is us to see how good this man is, and then we elect him or we don't elect him. But now you come out all day long, every day, every morning, every evening, unatokelesha nje, unaenda upande huu, unaanza kuambia watu ati, unaona wale wanacheza ukabila, unaona wale, how do you see that ukabila? Unafanya nini nje? You are supposed to be in the office, doing the work what we employed you for. In fact, we should not be seeing this campaign going on Mzalendo if somebody really is a leader of a country like Kenya, whereby people are united. He is not the one. He is the one who is not united. He is not united with the people. And that is why he is having this big war. Kwa sababu watu wamekataana na hiyo mambo yake. Mambo ya ukabila. Yeye ndiye ako na ukabila na asidanganye. People are united and he should let the people unite and do the best they can to elect whoever they will elect. Kama ni yeye tumchague kwa sababu ya uzuri wake na kazi yake. Lakini usije kutuambia ati sisi ati watu ni wa kabila because you are angry, because people are running away from you, because you are corrupt, you are known in the whole world, you are corrupt. You are number 2 corrupt president in the whole world. We know you are a tribal. We know you are a murderer. We know you are a thief. So all these bad things anazibeba kwa mgongo na akili yake. Na akifikiria hivyo sasa lazima hata sisi atutusi na atuonyeshe mtadu sasa atufanyie madhara yote ambayo atafikiria. And that is how Ruto is doing. He is angry man. He know nobody loves him. He know nobody will vote for him. And so hana mambo mazuri ambayo inaweza toka kwa mdomo yake. Ile yote inatoka kwa mdomo yake ni matusi, uchungu. Anything that is bad is coming out of him. Na kwa hivyo aache kutuambia sisi ni wa kabila when we know what we know about him. In fact, Kenyans are just quiet because we cannot keep on arguing with him. Let him talk, but Kenyans mcheze mchezo wenu vizuri. Mjue dakika ya mwisho, firimbi ikilia, twende tukamtoe. That's all I can say, Mzalendo.
Naona uko tayari na firimbi ya kutoa.
Mimi niko na firimbi already.
Uko na firimbi na unajua kuna vitu zimekera wa Kenya sana. Mimi kama wale ambao walikampenia Bwana Ruto wakati wa 2022 nilikuwa naona ya kuwa Ruto bado ni kijana compared to Bwana Raila, na zile sera alikuwa nasema pale zilikuwa zinafaa ule mwananchi wa chini kabisa. Na ile hesabu Bwana Ruto anapiga sahi sielewi kabisa, kwa sababu yeye aliingia pale na watu wale wanaitwa the hustlers au ni watu wale wadogo sana katika jamii. Wale ndio wale watu wa mama mboga na mama nani. Now hawa hustlers tayari umewapoteza. Wale umeingiza katika serikali yako ni wanasiasa wale wanasiasa wa ODM umewainua ukaingiza katika serikali ili kuimarisha serikali yako, but wale walikupigia kura au jawazingatia. Niliona video moja Kenya maandamano kamili ya kuwa wale walipigia Bwana Ruto kura Rift Valley wanasema hivi: sisi tunakuona unapita na gari kila wakati, unaenda unapeleka maendeleo Nyanza, unaenda unapeleka maendeleo Western. Kwa wale wako kupigia kura, tunakuona tu, tunakuonea 18 tunakuonea 18 ukipita na magari ukipeleka maendeleo kule Western. Sisi wale wa Rift Valley walikupigia kura Baringo huku chini, Baringo nani, hakuna maendeleo. Ukiona mashule kuna vita hata tayari inaendelea huko. I think serikali inafaa kuweka kuzingatia na kuweka nguvu zake zote katika hizo area ambao tunaziona they are marginalized areas. Yeah, but hawa ndio najiuliza hii kura itatoka wapi? Haya, ukiangalia tena bwana Raila Odinga, mtu kama Kenya maandamano kamili aliamini sana bwana Raila Odinga ya kuwa yeye ni mtu, is an honest man, is everything. I remember you used to, yani mtu ungeniona hivi hata ungenipiga na mawe hiyo wakati.
That is true.
That is true. Ulikuwa unaniona hivi unasema, what is this man doing talking badly about Raila Odinga?
I mean, actually, Mzalendo, we were fighting for two people who will never be fruitful for our country at all.
Can you imagine? Yani, we were at war with these two individuals who are looking for their wealth and looking
their own tumbo.
Looking to protect each other. But how I wish, let me tell you, I still have got some little hope that William Ruto will come into his senses and realize that, hey, wait a minute. I have gone throughout the country. Nikaenda throughout the country. Nimesikia vile watu wanasema. And this is what I have to say. Yeah, this is what I have to say. And what I'm saying today is that nimesikia malalamishi ya Wakenya that there is something wrong with my government. Even by bringing Raila Odinga into his government, you can see what happened in Kisii. People are starting to hate Raila Odinga because of William Samoei Ruto. And people are starting to hate politicians because they are not principled. People are not going to vote for William Ruto in 2027 because of development. People are going to vote on some issues that yani utashanga the issues that people are going to look into consideration. First is the political class is looting the country, and secondly, nepotism and tribalism. And the way the government of Kenya is huge and the wastage in government. Those are the issues that people are looking at. But let me welcome Leo Nyabaya, patriotic Kenyan. Patriotic Kenya. Assalamu alaikum.
Before Nyambaya comes in, and how are you, Nyambaya?
I'm fine, thank you. Long time.
Long time, yeah. Let me say something before Nyambaya come in. For me, what I have learned with these two guys, in fact, hata mtu yeyote hao wawili abadilike aseme atafanya Kenya kama Singapore, amechelewa. I will not trust them. I will not listen to them. Even if they make it Singapore, at this very time, we deserve it. It's not that they are doing us a favor. And so if they change around and say that we are going to make Kenya, Singapore, whatever, yes, make it. And you get out. I cannot give somebody a chance. Because let me tell you, kuna mtu ambaye atakuhadaa, akuumize, dakika ya mwisho akwambie, oh, sorry sana, nimekosea, ninatubu dhambi, ninafanya nini, na unisamehe, sasa sitafanya hivyo tena. Umsamehe. That is the last blow you are looking for. Akumalize kabisa, uishe, abaki hapo. So for me, what I'm trying to say is, either they change, or they come and repent, or they say that this and that, we will not repeat again, we are going to build the country. Build it and be ready to go. Because you are not using your money to build the country. You would have built it a long time ago. You have killed people. People have vanished. We don't know where they are. So many pain that has been caused. People are languishing in poverty. And now you want to show us that now you have come to your senses. It is right time you do what it is right, but be ready to go. Otherwise, we are not forgiving you, because the punishment you have given us is enough. You are a human being, and we are human beings. We are not animals. And so for you, what you have done, it's enough. What you are doing for the country, we deserve it. It's not a favor. Me, I will not forgive. I'm that bad. I'm that good. Thank you.
Leo.
Welcome, welcome,
Thank
Nyambaya.
you. Thank you
No,
so much,
long time.
Mama Mary. And good morning, Mzalendo. Oh no, Mama Mary, the good thing I like her is that she's always on her stand. She never changes goalpost. If she doesn't like, she will not like you. Unlike my brother here, will like Ruto, but when Ruto joins Raila, then he will change with it. But Mama Mary has maintained her stand ever since we went for the elections. And her hate and our dislike to Ruto has not changed, irrespective of who Ruto associate with. But let me also take this opportunity to say that what we need to understand is that politics is for politicians. And if we are expecting that somebody who is not a politician is going to play the political arena, then we are lying to ourselves. At some point last year, when this thing called Gen Z started, when they were saying they were leaderless, they came to realize that there's no way you can lead a revolution when you're leaderless. Leaderless people cannot lead any revolution. The people who started it, you've seen, they've realized that they cannot do it outside politics. You saw recently your favorite Morara Kebaso joining Gachagua, so they have to align themselves politically. And in aligning themselves politically, they've also understood that in Kenya, we have what is called a political identity. And our political identity, the one that is selling most, is tribe. So you have to align yourself with the specific tribal kings so that you can be able to make some a political movement. The same happened to people like Marco Ure. And that is a fact that we can't run away from. For us to change the political system in Kenya, we have to join these politicians. And maybe if we'll join them and overpower them within, that is when we'll be able to change these things. But we can't just sit back and dream that, you see, we are going to have a force that is going to remove William Ruto in 2027. I don't see that one happening. And Mzalendo, I've heard you saying that, you see, the ground is so hostile. I think these things have never started today. Politicians have been sent away previously, and the same people who've been sent away have always been getting elected. So seeing maybe people booing to Raila in Gusii, or seeing people maybe heckling Ruto in Githurai or somewhere else, does not mean that he's hated. These things are done, maybe it was organized and somebody also had to achieve their mission and such kind of things. But at the end of the day, Kenyans are the ones who are going to vote. And one thing I know, for the longest, maybe I've followed the Kenyan politics, you can't fight Raila and the government at the same time. For you to fight the government, one of them, these people, Ruto told us that we had some people called the dynasties. And it is true, in these elections, we used to have these dynasties running against themselves, or these dynasties were running against maybe the government or such kind of things. And whenever you will find maybe the Odingas, the Kenyattas together, they will obviously have to maybe make some movements. But currently, Ruto have also joined the dynasties. And now you want to tell me that these dynasties are united and they are the same in government, and you want to fight them together. It's hard. 2027 is still a walk in the park. And the only thing maybe that can happen is having the same people, because I'm seeing a situation whereby you're still going to have Raila running against Ruto. And if Raila is running against Ruto, and after the election again, they'll have a handshake. So unless we think beyond that, there's nothing we're going to do. That is the fact.
Leo, I like the part that you're saying that Raila will be running in 2027. But I don't know whether you realize that these elections or our politics is changing. I don't see you are still stuck in the old ways of politics. You have not seen the dynamics of politics. In fact, with the internet age, you have not seen the kind of organization. You have not. You are belittling these people called Gen Zs, and you are not even talking about numbers. When you look at the numbers, is Raila increasing any of his base, or is he even losing? Is Ruto gaining anything by joining Raila Odinga? I want you to be honest with your.
Just a minute. A minute. Let me just explain that one to you. Is Raila gaining? By now, Raila has not declared that he's running for any seat. So we cannot. By right now, I can tell you that Raila has got nothing to lose. In either way, he's not losing because number one, he not declared he's running, despite the fact that we can maybe just try to insinuate, but he's not running. So he's not losing anything politically. The person who should either be losing or gaining is William Ruto. But again, William Ruto will tell you, you elected me as a president. It's not a time for campaign. Maybe he's going to pull a card in the next 2 years and do something that is going to tell people that, look, I was stuck because you people were fighting me left, right, and now nimeshika mita, nimeanza kazi. Sasa simunipatie itano niende nimalize kazi. You know, Ruto is so cunning. He is having some sweet mouth. And that is why when I see people like Alonso sitting at their comfort and thinking that the Gen Zs who are majorly on online will come out and vote for him, I sympathize with him. Yes, there's some dynamic change on the internet and such kind of things. These things have happened. If you followed the Ugandan elections, this guy called Bobby Wine was trending on these Twitters and everything. And you'll find that most of these people who are motivating him and giving him hopes were non-Ugandans. They're the ones who crowded this internet space. The internet space doesn't have boundaries. We have people from different countries and they participate in these conversations, but at the end of the day, they don't turn out to vote. So let me tell you, my friend, let us not maybe think that the next general election is going to be largely affected by the Gen Zs. This kind of Gen Zs and the internet will affect our elections maybe in the next 20 years. But in the next 5 or 3 years, nothing is going to change. Our identity is still going to be the same. Because if you think that the Gen Zs are going to drive some change, they're the same people who are heckling other leaders. They're the same people who you see following and cheering and clapping for William Ruto. And they're the same people who on the streets, and when one of their political god, Raila, did not associate with the street, they stopped going to the street. They're the same people you saw in KICC the day that they were signing this agreement. They are the same Gen Zs that you think will have to send Ruto out. So this one is happening. Maybe it might happen in the next 20, 30 years, but in the next general election, nothing much is going to change.
I think there is always a difference between the kind of youth that you are talking about that support the ODM leader, or the kind of youth that we call Gen Zs. The Gen Zs that you saw the other time are not the same people that you've been seeing in your in ODM demonstrations. These are people who came from their places of work. They were college-going students. They came in peace. They were not harming anyone.
That is now discriminating. Just get it clear. When you talk of Gen Z, this is an age group. So when you're telling me they're Gen Zs for ODM, that's what I'm telling you. Gen Z is an age group. So we have Gen Zs for ODM. We have Gen Zs who are Kikuyu. We have Gen Zs who are Luos. And at the end of the day, each and every Gen Z goes back to their political identity. That's what you want to believe. That is what you want to believe. That is a wishful thought, you know. That is what you want to believe, that, you know, these Luos will definitely come back to Raila Odinga and all and vote on tribal lines. I can tell you that is absolutely wrong. The things that are driving you to the ballot, especially in your mindset, is not the same thing that are driving my daughter or my son to the ballot. Very, very different things, completely different. And one of these fine days, you need to come to this channel and win, because they are Gen Zs here. You look at the kind of mindset these people have. They are not thinking like you. They're not thinking about Raila Odinga or William Ruto. Those are people who are inconsequential to them. They are looking at the issues that are at hand, the issues that are important to them. The job security, is this country giving them the job security that they want? They are looking at the justice for the victims that were killed during the demonstrations. But you see, these are things that could be unique to your understanding if you are still glued in the old tribal politics. Kenya Maandamano Kamili, umesikia Bwana Leo. What is your opinion or your take on what Leo is saying?
Mzalendo, you know, this nowadays, money is doing a lot of evil in our country, and huyu mtu amezoea tabia mbaya sana. I don't know whether this is right, using money to buy people so that they can come do that kind of noise, ama ndio uonekane uko na watu. Definitely people will come for money. They will come and do whatever you have asked them. But Is this going to continue like that in a country that we want development, a country we want honesty, a country we want democracy, a country that we want people to unite and be happy of each other? It won't. And so this is the man who is talking about tribal, and this is the man spending money for the country to do all this kind of division. Because when you see him having this crowd which is bought, which is given money to come and shout, what do you think those genuine people feel? Do you know even he can make people start fighting for no reason because of his behavior and the way he is using money to bribe people to be against others? When others are hurting and they are very bitter, others are shouting for him and, saying that he is a good person because they got some money. And even hata hawa raia wenyewe wanajuana na wanajua huyu anasema Ruto ni mzuri na ni pesa amepewa. How do you know about it at night? How they will start, fighting each other. So Ruto is not making this country comfortable. He is not making the country peaceful. He is destroying it, and he is using poor people to destroy the country, while he say that he is not the one doing it. Because this money, when it is being given, it is given in a hidden manner. But you wonder, where is that mushrooming from, those people who come and shout for him? Now that we are used that he buys people, and that is how people will conclude. And that is how people are going to fight, because you are going against what we want in our country. We want a country that is united and developing. But you are going to shout it to somebody who has curtailed. People don't get medicine in the hospital. People are not going to school. People are hungry. People are hurting. People are not comfortable in their own country. And you are supporting him. That is my point, that he is causing a lot of enmity between poor people. Na atatoka hapo aende kwake State House akalale, akule na akunywe. Amemaliza kuharibu wao akili za watu wale ambao ni wabaya na wengine ni wazuri. Anaakisha moto na anaenda zake. That is what we should be avoiding, Kenyans.
Allow me ask Kenyan Mandamano just a concern. Mama Mary, do you think that replacing Ruto's team with Gachagua's team is a better option? Do you see? I'm just trying to ask her, does she believe that the Gachagua's led team or the Gachagua's led movement is a better option to William Ruto's government?
You mean for the country? Are you saying besides Gachagua and Ruto, for the country?
Leo, your mic is off, Leo.
Your mic is out. I can't hear you.
Leo, go ahead. You've switched it off again. Weka mic on, Leo. Leo, your mic is off. Your mic, Leo, your mic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that the Gachagua-led faction is a better option for this country? Yes.
Yes.
I don't like Gachagua.
It's on.
I don't like Gachagua, but I feel he is doing better than what we have in the country as the government. Kwa sababu yule mtu ambaye akona peace in his own mind na anajaribu kutafuta nia nzuri ya nchi, that is the person we can listen to. Lakini hatuwezi kusimama na mtu ambaye ile mambo yote anafanya ni corruption, kuharibu watu uhusiano, kuendelea na kuuza hata nchi. However, we know Gachagua is not the president, but we expect the president to be more better than the outsider. But now you see the person who is talking to us and talking to Kenyans in a honest way is Gachagua. And why do we trust him? Because whatever he is talking about is what is happening. And if he was in the government, he knows what was cooking. And why should we not trust him when we see this guy is doing bad things and we can witness that? So for me, I would say Gachagua is doing better thing at the moment, not knowing what will happen tomorrow, because Kenya is like flip-flopping. But we are looking forward to see somebody who stand with us and that we can understand. We don't understand Ruto. We don't understand Raila. Those people are confusing us, and we have no time to be confused.
Yeah, I think Leo, the question, maybe the question Leo asked, you answered it perfectly. And I've been wondering, is Gachagua even running for president? Gachagua has only been saying the right things, which in a country where we don't have an opposition, he's been pointing out the mistakes that the government of William Ruto is doing. The same way Raila was doing when he was in the opposition. He was pointing out the mistakes that William Ruto is doing and our Uhuru Kenyatta is doing. Whether he can make a good leader or not, no, I don't think that he has reached a point where he can sell his policies in other regions and people would vote for him as a president. But people would listen to Gachagua because he's saying the right things at the right time. Is he tribal? Yes, he's tribal. And is it in a good way? I would say it is in a good way because everybody else is tribal. Everybody in Kenya, the leaders that we see today, whether it is William Ruto, Raila Odinga, all these leaders are tribal. They have got tribal bases that they run to each and every time. So Gachagua, they're trying to put the Mount Kenya people together. He sees it as a bargaining chip to achieve whatever they want. And people need to understand that politicians come into politics to grab power. Somebody like Gachagua has been the vice president of the Republic of Kenya. What else could he be aiming for? The presidency. And also to have a say in what is going to happen to the country called Kenya. Does he have the moral authority? Yes, he's a Kenyan, he's over 18, he has an ID, and whether he's practicing tribalism or not, that is up to you to decide whether you are going to vote for him. But for me, what I see is that Gachagua is not on the ballot, but he's saying the right things. What people want to hear in the absence of an opposition. Yeah.
Gachagua is doing right thing at the moment because even he is aiding the country itself. You see, like now he said about bombers is being sold. He's exposing bad things that are going on. Na hata Ruto hajatokelesha aseme hajauza because he knows it's a true thing. And he is wondering how people are getting this news. But we can have a person who is saving the country in the right trajectory. Gachagua, whatever he is saying things that we are seeing and we are witnessing. He is not lying, but the person who is leading the country is a liar. Can you imagine? The person who is leading a country is a liar, but the person who is outside the government is a truthful man. He is telling us exactly what is coming out. So being tribal, it's a nickname that they are trying to nickname Gachagua, because Gachagua, I remember even the day he went to Kakamega, remember? He had so many supporters who came in and they were happy to see him. But I know there is one thing Gachagua is trying to avoid now, long distances travel, because you know the malicious government can do anything. So he's so careful where he goes, what he does during his day. and all that. But Gachagua has already declared that he is not even vying for presidency, but he said he can support whoever will be chosen by the people. So that is one good thing that I have known about Gachagua. And that makes me continue trusting him and seeing him that he is doing a good job. Sababu mtu ambaye hana na tamaa, saa zingine tunampea heko kwa sababu tamaa ndio imefanya hata huyo Raila aingize hiyo tumbo yake hapo wakiwa na huyo Kasongo. I'm telling you, because what does Baba not have? He has everything.
You
But
know
he's,
what I was thinking today. What I was thinking today. I was just thinking aloud and said, maybe Baba doesn't know how to play golf. Somebody should take Baba out, teach him how to play golf, because that's what rich people who have made money do. Just a golf, enjoy the game, go with your wife there, dress nicely, forget about politics for a moment. Go play golf. People will consult you, come to your home, consult you about the politics of the day. Gypsy Corner, I can see you. Thank you very, very much for your greetings. Annie, karibu sana Afrika. Afrika unauliza umekuja huku utawezana na hii syllabus. Hii
hao ni
syllabus
watu wetu kabisa, akina Anna Gypsy Corner.
Hii silabasi yetu ni straightforward. Hapa ndio mahali ukikuja utatoa maoni yako, whether unapenda sijui nani, hatutakuambia ama kukujeli. We'll listen to your opinion and you will argue your point without being interrupted. So feel free, be coming to Africa 24 so that you'll hear a different opinion on how we look at things politically, but holistically. So don't worry about sometimes the situation getting hot, but Gypsy Corner will keep you company there. But next time we hope that utapanda huko juu ukae na Kenya maandamano kamili, tuangalie vile hii nchi yetu tunaweza iendesha. Tukimalizia show ya leo Kenya maandamano kamili. Watu wanajiuliza, wanauliza na wanahisia mingi sana juu ya nani atakuwa kiongozi bora katika nchi ya Kenya. And even if you are in the comment section, this is a question for you. Who do you think is the best candidate among the opposition politicians who have come up, who can take on the government of William Samoei Ruto and Raila Odinga? Who do you think can challenge them effectively and win the race come 2027? And we are not also only looking at the presidency. This is where we miss the point. When we are looking at the elections in 2027, we have to look at what makes someone president of the Republic of Kenya. You have to win at least 22 of the counties. Lazima ukuwe na governors 22 katika kila county, which are 47 of them. Who among these leaders can marshal that kind of support and get the 22 governors on board and at least control the assemblies? Either akiweza control parliament or the Senate, it is a plus, because we cannot want to remove William Ruto, Kenya maandamano kamili, but we don't know the kind of people who are going to be to remove these other MPs who have been compromised. Yeah, the leaders in parliament are people who have been compromised already, and they are going to vote on that direction that they have been guided by either Raila Odinga or William Ruto. So we need also to clean up the assemblies. And how are we going to do it, Kenya maandamano kamili, as we close?
That is a very good point, Zalendo, about those other I'll call them the lower class, kwa sababu kuna hao executive. Now, When Kenyans go to elect, we already said that it's not only the president, because we can have a good president and then we have got bad people who are in the parliament. And still we have a problem, because if they are bad people, we will not get where we are heading. We can get a bad president and we can get good parliamentarians who will not let this leader get away with it. So what am I saying? Kenyans need to know their people, because mimi sasa niwe niko kwa county fulani, huyo mtu ambaye tunamchagua definitely hakutoka county ingine, ako kwa county yetu. So we know him and we will tell him point blank, this is my vote, I'm giving you my vote and I'm giving you my problems. And those are the problems that I'm sending you to the parliament to do. Fight for it. We want this, we want this. If not that, then, and in fact, there is another time, let me stop there and say something else.
Yes.
Mzalendo, if our country or that constitution, is there any clause that says that we can have vote of no confidence? Do we?
On the president.
On the president only?
On the president can be impeached.
How about MPs?
Yes, MPs, yes, you can recall the MPs.
We the people.
Yeah, we the people of Kenya can recall the MPs.
And where are we failing that cannot happen even now?
The reason is that recalling the MPs in Kenya, it's a huge task, very, very huge, because one, I don't know how many, according to the Elections Act,
Yes.
there are grounds to call the MP. You don't just wake up and say that, hey, and you have to prove your point. It has to be like a gross violation of the Constitution or any other law.
Yeah.
Or any other law.
Yeah.
Mismanagement of public resources, which they do every day.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Is whether convicted of an offense, like the way they bribe people during elections.
Corruption.
And all that. Corruption. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are the issues that you can raise, and then you need like 30% of the registered voters in
the
that
constituency. Yeah.
Now, and with at least, in a constituency, there's the wards also. So you need 15% of each and every ward, so that you can recall your MP. It is easy. For example, I think that is what Gachagua was insinuating the other day. Yeah, you can recall these MPs very, very easily.
It's easy.
Now there has to be an issue. There has to be an issue, gross violation and things like that. But you cannot just come because it has to be looked at. What are the issues that you are recalling this MP? And again, it has to be approved by IBC. Yeah, the verification and approval again goes to IBC, and that IBC is what we are saying is corrupt also.
That is where I was going. That is where I was going. You see, even now, because we have no complete IBC, it is intentional. It is intentional because it seems like the president himself is the one to rule out the IBC to be there. That is how it looks like. So he has carried the whole country in one basket, that he is the one and he is the only one, nobody else. And that is why people are suffering. Kwa sababu hata hawa maseneta na ma MPs, in fact, wanaweza tolewa. You see, like the other guy, huyu Barasa, si aliua mtu. Na huyu mama wa huko Coast si aliua mtu. Those are people who should not even be in the parliament talking or doing anything. And these others should be whipped out kwa sababu corruption ile imefanyika Kenya, honestly. Even that kind of going to vote for the 2024 budget finance bill, those people were bribed. And if we can prove that really they were bribed, they have already committed a crime, because you are doing something terrible, knowing very well it's a wrong thing, and knowing very well it is going to bring a lot of problems in the country. So we can say we have no confidence with you. And Kenyans, I know they can vote for that, but how can they do it? There is a lot of corruption. There is a lot of meandering, it's not straightforward. People are not ready to know exactly how they can do it because wanataka wachanganyikiwe, mkose njia, hiyo kitu ikae hivyo. So Kenya is not organized, and it is disorganized by the governance that we have right now. Otherwise, before, things were very straightforward. That is my belief.
Yeah, and Gypsy Corner is asking, I don't know whether it's a comment or a question, but I think there is a follow-up. Let me try and explain this, recalling an MP. Now, Betty, let me explain it to you, that you can recall your MP, and these are the grounds for recalling your MP. Gross violation of the Constitution of Kenya. Mismanagement of public resources. Public resources means the NGAF CDF, if you can prove it, that the MP has mismanaged those resources. That will be something that you can work on. Then if is convicted, is convicted of an election an election offense, maybe bribing, things like that, then you can recall your MP. How you do it? You need 30% of the registered voters in your constituency where you come from. You need that 30%, and then again you need 15% of each and every ward. You see, the wards, constituencies have got wards that are represented by MCAs. Now you need 50% of the voters in that constituency. That way you can recall an MP. Now, an MP can only, listen, this is very, very important. An MP can only be recalled at least 2 years after being elected. Only 2 years. You cannot recall an MP after 5 months of his election. It can only be recalled after 2 years of his election.
Kwa hivyo wako tayari sana, wameiva.
Then the petition to recall an MP cannot be filed more than once. Ni mara moja tu ndio you can file. So they are also protected in a way by the electoral body, which is IBC. So after that, those signatures and the petition is verified by the body. The independent electoral body verifies whether they meet the threshold to now recall the MP. Then a by-election will be announced, of course, by one Chebukati who will be there at that particular time. I hope, Betty, I answered your question. And another this one, maybe I'll give it to Kenya Maandamano Kamili to attempt. Gypsy Corner is saying Mzalendo 2027 is gone. We should not kid ourselves because Raila has ended Ruto second term. Truth be told, what is your take on this issue that Gypsy Corner is raising? And I think it's a concern by many people because they are looking at numbers. But just what is your analysis, Kenya Maandamano Kamili, of this kind of thought?
Ambia Gibbs Corner let down kwa kufikiria hivyo. He's adding more numbers when he talk like that, but there are no numbers. I don't believe it. There is that belief that people are feeling like Raila took something to Ruto. And in fact, it's a subtract. It's a minus. Me, in my own heart and belief, and with all my weight, my body, my mind, and everything, there's nothing that Ruto has gained by bringing Raila to his side. What there is people are not understanding each other, whether I'll be this side or this side, but people have moved away from Raila. People have moved. Na hiyo mood, na hiyo wave, itaendelea. In fact, I don't see anything that Raila brought to Ruto. And Ruto, that is why you see Ruto having to talk like shouting to people wherever he goes, because the anger he cannot control his anger. And he is anxious. The anxiety is growing day by day. He's not sure of what to do. And that's why you see they are attempting to tell us about rigging ati tutaiba kura. In fact, they are planning to do that. So Kenyans have to be vigilant. Musikubali kuamini ati yeye akona watu. Hana watu, ni uongo. Watu wamehama wameenda zao na wanaongoja hiyo election. Even they are thinking they wish it is tomorrow. It's not all that long. But I know people will hold on. Hiyo uchungu wote wako nao, they are not going to let it go. They are not going to accept. Me, my own feeling, hakuna mtu ataniconvince. Unless Ruto aibe. In fact, this time round, hana watu wamehama. Na Raila hakumletea kitu. Raila ameenda kukula, amalize kile ako nacho kwa mkebe, aende zake. Hakuna kitu anamletea. There is nothing. That is my feeling and that is my take, mzalendo. Kwa hivyo Gibbs Corner, usiwe na wasiwasi, watu wangu nimewaweka, kama utasimama nitakuletea, utawekewa kura na utapita. That's all I can say.
What I can add in what you just said is that one, Gypsy Corner, Ruto is coming minus the Kikuyu vote, the larger Kikuyu voting block. Is coming minus that. So what technically is doing is replacing it with Nyanza vote. And remember, the numbers are Kikuyu. The Kikuyu population is around 8 million. That's what we are talking about. And the Luo population in the western region is about 5 million. So there is already having a deficit of about 3 million when you look at the Kikuyu and the Luo votes. And again, there is one thing called voter apathy. So many people are not happy with Raila Odinga joining William Ruto, and they might not vote in that direction. So this election will have a lot of voter apathy, including those who are supporting William Ruto, who is a Kalenjin. It's not necessarily that the Kalenjin will support William Ruto the way they did when they were with Gachagua. This politics of deceit is what Kenyans are saying, that it has to come to an end at some point. It has to come to an end at some point. And remember one thing, Raila Odinga is also coming minus the Kamba people. Those are people who had voted for him last time. They are not going to go along with him to vote for William Samoei Ruto. So the voting block of the Kisi people, as you had seen the other time, these are voting blocks that are very, very cosmopolitan. Largely, they will vote for the opposition leader. They will only, if Matiang'i or Maraga is on the ballot, they will go with their son. If you are looking at the tribal trajectory of Kenyan politics. Now, the Meru, they will be divided definitely. into either voting for Ruto or voting for alongside where Gachagua will be aligned. Now we have the Maasai, the Maa community, the Maasai community largely in the Rift Valley. These are the people who have been in the opposition. They have not been in government per se. Looking at their voting patterns, they can be divided. They will be divided, and they attract about 1 million votes. So these are the votes that will decide. But the most important vote in Kenya, and the winning card and the winning formula for the opposition, if I were to advise, is to have a Luhya candidate from Western as the presidential flag bearer. That is a guarantee that William Ruto and Raila Odinga are indeed going home. So if they can have a Luhya candidate as a flag bearer, supported by the Kikuyu community, then I can assure you that this election will be dusted asubuhi na mapema. So those are the numbers, Gypsy Corner. Those are the numbers that I've given you. I've given you my projection. Sometimes they could be right, sometimes they could be wrong, but that is how I feel people would vote on those tribal lines. I have not talked about the Gen Z coming into the politics. I have not talked about the numbers that the Gen Zs are bringing. And that is why you are seeing William Ruto really trying as much as possible to bring everybody into this broad-based government, because the Gen Z factor is so big. Gen Z vote alone is 15 million if they are mobilized properly. And I'm talking about Gen Zs who are going to vote against the government. Those who are going to vote along with the government is about 5 million of them. Those who are going to vote against the government is about 15 million. I use data. That's why we analyzed the other time that William Ruto is projected to win the election, and he did win the election. Today, if elections were held and people vote the way I have told you with the Luhya candidate, William Ruto is going to be defeated with a huge margin, something that you would not even believe. Karibu sana Mise LM, welcome to Africa 24. If you have not subscribed on Africa 24, make sure that you subscribe to Africa 24. If you're watching us from Tembei, please just do the honors and like, subscribe, and follow Africa 24 so that you can have this kind of discussions that are informative and encouraging for the political players who are hoping to bring change, or those who want the status quo to remain. This is the place where you need to be. If you want the status quo, come and explain yourself. Hatuta kufukuza, kuja utuambie kwa nini unapenda William Ruto, kwa nini unataka hii serikali ibaki, na utuambie sera zake zile unaona ni muhimu. Sisi hapa ni kutoa maoni yetu kama wadadisi wa kisiasa. Mise, karibu. Welcome.
Before Mise come, Mzalendo,
yes.
Let me say one thing.
Yes.
Nilikuwa nataka kusema votes za Wakikuyu ziwekwe kando, za Wakamba ziwekwe kando, hizo zingine na za Kisii ziwekwe kando. Hizo zingine, if he is lucky, you'll be getting half. So, yeye ategemea hizo half zake huko pandio ingine, but these are the places Wakamba, Wakikuyu, Kisii, I don't think he is getting anything. Na hata wale lawyers, I don't see them doing anything bad this time around going towards Ruto. I don't see Kalenjin, half of them voting for Ruto. I don't see Masai voting for Ruto, honestly, having seen what I have seen and what I have understood. So for him, basi ajitayarishe afanye rigging hiyo anapanga, but Kenyans are not going to accept. People cannot be on the lineup voting for the person that they want for the change of the country. alafu aende kufanya rigging. Basi ni vita anatafuta, which is very bad. Accept defeat ndio ujulikane wewe ni mwanaume. Asanti.
Wow. Mise LM, if you are available, you can say something. I think Mise is still open your mic, Mise. So yeah, you are right, Kenya maandamano kamili. Those votes really matter. Na hata kama kuna kuiba, kama kuna kuiba hii election, wacha nikwambie, kuiba kila mtu anajiandaa kuiba. Hii pande ya Gachagua wanajua vile waliiba. So kila mtu anajiandaa kuiba kura. So ule ataiba zaidi ndio.
By the way anaibia mwizi.
Wanaibia mwizi, hao wanajuana kwa vilemba. So that is the dangerous part of it. That hao wote ni wezi.
And I believe that is why Ruto was saying ataiba.
Yeah, so hilo ataiba zaidi at the end, at the finishing line ndiye atakuwa kiongozi. Lakini wale ukae ukijua pande hii nyingine pia ni wezi tu kama hao wengi. Kama wengi.
Wataibana.
Yeah, wataibana. Mise, if you are not there, we are closing. We have done almost 2 hours of this, and tunataka kuacha show kama iko moto na iko tamu. We don't want to go beyond so many hours so that some of our points are not diluted, especially when we were talking about how APs are being recalled, the numbers that we are talking about. Mise, you are logged in with how many gadgets? Mise, my brother, let me remove you from this one. All right, I can see Mise, karibu sana, and give us your opening remarks. We have been waiting for you here to settle down. You have seen what is happening in the political scene. I know you have got a lot to say. You can start with what happened in Kisii.
Kata mwanangu.
Utusalimie kwanza. We have got few. I will just do you the honors. We have got 10 more minutes that I'll give for this show before we close down. Yeah, you saw what happened in the political scene. What is your take? Bwana Mise? Hii siasa inaenda namna gani? Wow, kina broad-based watatoboa.
Hii siasa habari Kenya maandamano kamili. And Mzalendo, thank you for having us. It's good to be here, and it's good to come and share our thoughts. Because we love Kenya. It's our country. Regardless of what is happening, we still hold our allegiance to our country, and it's the only thing that we have that that is so precious. So for me, I think I'm really disgusted with what is happening. First of all, I'm disappointed with William Samoei Ruto. I thought that he was brilliant, and all those good speeches and hopes that he gave us, the Mamambogas and all that, the bottom-up model. I find that I'm so disappointed. The guy who said that he cannot work, he cannot entertain handshake. Now we are seeing them going back to the handshake. The guy who said that they can work, mambo ya kitendawili imeisha. Now we are seeing that they are going back to kitendawili. So I'm really disappointed of what is happening now in Kenya. And although it's also good that now Kenyans are learning that we are dealing with political conmen who are actually doing nothing other than amassing wealth for themselves and their children and their families. They are greedy, both of them. And those people, at least I like Uhuru. Uhuru hakuwa anakasirisha watu sana. Uhuru alikuwa mnakasirika tena mnarudi mnacheka. he had some sense of patriotism. He loved the country, and I think Uhuru would not have wanted certain things to happen as they have happened. It's quite unfortunate that some of us supported William Ruto and thought that he was going to be the guy who was going to change the political landscape, the political literacy. It happens that he is the guy who is perpetrating that, who is ensuring that the political landscape maintains the status quo. So, Mzalendo, your son and my son can never get a chance to become leaders of tomorrow in Kenya. As we are done. And I can tell you that whatever the two or the top, where the Raila is the most, is the political, who is the broker of all political deals. We can never get to the table of negotiation where we can also, and our voices can be heard. You know who are the true patriots? I believe that you and me and Maandamano Kamili, I think we are the true patriots because we come here and talk about our country, and we hope every day we talk about positive things as a nation. The people that we have entrusted with our resources, with the decisions and the future, I don't think that they are going to do anything. I believe that someone like Babu Owino and a few young leaders ought to be given now to be given an opportunity and to be mentored to to lead our country in the near future. And I don't think that nothing good is going to happen. I think our country is heading to the wrong direction when you find that our very own leaders have lost the sense of patriotism, the sense of pride of our country, and now they are auctioning our country to the highest bidder. Then we are not headed to anywhere, Mzalendo. Mzalendo, I believe I have given. I don't know Kenyan maandamano. Maybe Mzalendo has gone for a bathroom break, but I don't know what is your take on this one here.
Well, yes, Mise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you had a very nice opening remark that we don't see a future for our children, and that's why we are fighting in this space each and every day, so that we can secure that future for the generation that is coming. If we don't fight and let the political class rule the way they want to rule, we will not have a country at the end of the day. They will be having their say each and every time. So we must keep on grinding. We must keep on fighting so that our voices are heard, even in the smallest way, even by participating on the comment section. People like Gypsy Corner, Betty Koech, and so many others who are participating on the comment section and who are watching this show. We don't come here just to make fun. We come here to educate you, to tell you of good practices of democracy, what we want for our country, which is important for each and every one. We want good services. We want an end to tribalism. And we also want equity when it comes to the distribution of our taxes. That is what we are yearning for. We don't have time for calling each other names uh, or hating each other, in hating Kikuyus and Kikuyus hating Luos. For us, we don't have that time. We don't have that time. That is left for the archives. For us, we are looking at the best way forward for the people of Kenya. We all grew up as Kenyan. This is one tribe, and we have seen that tribalism is the one that is destroying our future. If you look at my Kenya Mandamano Kamili, Miss LM, we don't know where Mrs. daughter will be married to. So these are people who are going to marry in different cultures. And if you bring your culture and your ways of practice, some of these things are going to die in the future. So let us look at our politics in a positive way. If you go back to where I come from, schools already don't even have water. Don't even have water, don't even have water. Let us think as Kenyans. Let us not think as tribes. The person I dine with each and every time is a Kikuyu. The person I call up when I want to have a good discussion is a Kisi by the name Mise. If I want some wise counsel, I go to Kenya Maandamano Kamili, who is a Kikuyu. So that is how dynamic our society is. And if you look at the strengths that we have as a country, the business community, the people who are doing business, the house that you live in is a house that belongs to Kamau or Njoroge. The shop that will buy your milk, and when you're broke, Wende Ukope, it also belongs to a Kikuyu. So how are we going to live with this animosity, yet you don't have a shop of your own or a home of your own that you can go to at the end of the day? We must complement each other. Our politicians should not divide us on tribal lines. That is my parting shot. Let us not be divided on tribal lines. Believe in what you say. Believe in what you want for your country. For me, one thing that I said I cannot support William Ruto anymore is the killing of those young people. When just imagine a 23 or 21-year-old being shot, his body is cut into pieces and put in a sack. Those are things that are annoying. Look at the pain of this young child. Look at the graves that are lying in those compounds because of bad leadership. Yet there is not even one single person has been arrested for those killings. So this is the society that we are in, a society that is not just to anybody. So it can happen to you, it can happen to your neighbor there, and we laugh about it because it is a politician who has done it. So let us put an end to this kind of conversation and an end to this kind of act that every other day people are disappearing, people are being abducted. I was just joking the other day that maybe I could be a victim of abduction. Why? Because, when you kosoa this serikali, they'll come for you. They'll come for you. But me say they'll lift you very, very fast into a pro box. But me, I've maintained my size. I cannot fit in a pro box very so easily. So watangangana sana kabla waniingize kwa kale ka pro box. So I want to say that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Wewe utainuliwa juu, umeenda.
Yeah.
So
that is true. But again, there's something that you asked me and I forgot to comment on it. The thing is, what happened in Kisii?
Yes.
You know, Mzalendo, that for the longest we have always supported Baba by all means. If you look at the way the Kisii, the Gusii region votes, we always either give Baba 49%, and then we give the other 51, or we give Baba 51, or we give 50-50. That is how we have always voted. But you see, if you look at the way Baba's treated us, Baba's not treated us nice. The truth is, our country is made of 42 tribes, and those tribes brings the diversity of our nation. The nation is structured that way, and the industrialism of every tribe brings the beauty to the country. If you know as Kissis, we don't know anything to do with the fish. Fish comes from our brothers, our neighbors, from you guys. And then we don't know some things when it comes to, good farming, and large-scale farming comes from our neighbors who are the island Nilots. So basically, we've always supported, because we have invested elsewhere, almost across the country. We have always supported people. Okay. But Baba, by all means, look, when he was given slots in the government, he didn't take anyone from Kisii and give him any significant, post or position, but rather you can see where he is inclined. But we have been very faithful in supporting him, and we are neighbors, and we are historical neighbors who have always been loyal to Baba. But Baba has done nothing than use us as the Kisii community in supporting him, and in return we don't get anything. I remember the time when Nyachai came up, Baba was not very happy, but again, despite the fact we were still able to support our brothers. So we feel that this time Baba needed to nurture, not just because he's a Kisii, but also because of region. We have a region from Nyanza, which is a block, the Kisii, the Luos, the Luyas. We are a block, and somehow we have a lot of similarities and historical similarities on how we relate. And therefore, when Baba comes and degrades, I don't support Matiang'i, for instance. I don't like him as a person. But when he comes and degrades that feeling, or that person that people feel that should be supported, it would have been nice for Baba to either keep quiet and not talk about it. The walking out on Baba is a strong message that the Kisii community is not happy, and Baba needs to do something, because of we supported Baba's father, and we supported Raila as a person for many, since I was a toddler. We have seen the community supporting him, and therefore us having a different block is something that he needs to think about, and see how we can bring development. And sometimes when there's regional development, regional leadership, it brings and fosters to leadership. I can tell you, Mzalendo, look at the road infrastructure in Kisii as a whole. We are poorly structured in terms of road network, facilities, even educational facilities. You will find that we are marginalized, and we have only 2 counties. So this is why the Kisii community is going to look for someone who is going to listen to them, someone who is going to identify with them, someone who is going to at least recognize their contribution to the nation. We cannot have bad infrastructure when we are second in terms of investment in the country. We cannot have or can't be listened to when it comes to support. We have been very liberal and loyal to anyone who is stood up to seek for leadership. And this is something that you have to look through that lens and see that we have to start having a conversation. Even though, look at Kisii and Nyamira, for example, Mzalendo. How many universities are there? Yet, we are the most. We have a lot of students that we have taken to universities in other provinces. What is the role of decentralization? What is the spirit of bringing resources to the grassroots when a whole county like Nyamira has no university? Okay, yet if you look at the number of students from Nyamira in other universities and colleges that are there, you will be surprised. So there is marginalization of some communities just because they chose to be independent. And I can tell you, if you look at the income from diaspora, from Kisis who are in diaspora, if you see the remittance to the country, it's very high. Mzalendo, for example, in where I come from, every other family has taken their families abroad. Okay, and what does that trickle to? It trickles down to remittance of income to the country. Look at Kisii County, for example. If you look at how much that is remitted there, that's why we were even given central bank. Why do you think central bank came to Kisii? Is because the income that is remitted in terms of with people from diaspora is very high. And so that is why I am thinking that Baba needs to rethink. Baba needs to stop being greedy and support his brothers who have always been there. And if it's Maraga, I am all down for Maraga and the other people who are having a coalition so that we can have a stronger candidate against one William Samoei Ruto. Ruto, by all means, ought to go home. And I am worried, Mzalendo. When we talk about the GNCs, I don't think they have votes. I think they might have the goodwill to champion the leadership of the day, but I am afraid that the way right now IBC is structured, we are on the second and we are heading to the third year. We are headed to the fourth year, somewhere next year, whereby IBC has not been well constituted. It has a lot of problems. When are we going to constitute IBC? When are we going to register voters? When is IBC going to put its structure, the new leader, the new chairperson? When is he going to put in place a workable commission that is going to run and give us a fair and credible election? So we have a lot of challenges, and those challenges at the end of the day, we might be rushed na wafunge haraka upate hatujapata enough time ya kuregister votes, right? So, and that's something that we are worried, and they know that maybe the GNCs might be upset, and we might have an exercise that is stalled that might not be able to enroll everyone who wants to become a voter or to be registered as a voter come 2027.
Well said. Kenya Mandamalo Kamili, your closing remarks. I think we have done 2 hours of the show. We have a early morning tomorrow. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. I want to add on what Mise have said. It is true, Gen Z might not be having votes. Those ideas are being kept intentionally because he is feeling that will be a problem on his side. Maybe right now to go and give those Somalis that he was saying they should not be vetted simply because he believed that they will vote for him to fill the cup, the cup. But I'm really, really feeling that even those Somalis might change their mind. You saw what they did in their area, how they took out the billboard down Ruto, meaning everybody is reasoning like a human being. What you don't want me do to you, don't do it to me. And what I don't want you do to my friend, don't do it to me. So those are things that people are looking at, na wakiangalia wanaona Ruto anachezea wananchi, anataka kuwa ati yeye kile anasema ndicho watu watafuata. akisema leo hamutakula, mnakaa bila kukula, na si yeye anawapikia, si yeye anawanunulia, si yeye analima hizo chakula, ni nyinyi mnalima. So we cannot have such kind of a tyranny ambaye atakuwa na rule even in our own houses. So hizo ID, I believe atafanya hivyo intentionally, na watu lazima watapiga kelele, watasema wapewe ID. If that is not going to happen, I hope other Kenyans who have IDs should reason properly and say that if our people are not going to get IDs, why should we vote for such a person who really is controlling the rights of people, even when they want to fight in a different way? People are not going for maandamano which you don't like. Then give them votes, let them do their rights. But you cannot control their rights from left to right. Kwa hivyo nchi yetu sahihi, I believe many people are reasoning that way. Sio mtu mmoja, kwa sababu saa ile unaona mwenzako, your neighbor, watoto haendi shule, mwenzako mama yake amekufa kwa sababu hakupata dawa ya kumsaidia, wale wengine hawana chakula ya kukula. You cannot just go on laughing. When you reason like a human being, you should know you are all in trouble. You are all having problems. Simply because nikikosa chakula ya kupea mtoto, maybe at night nitaenda kwa hiyo shamba yako nikate mboga. And in fact, that is how people are. I cannot die when you have food. So Ruto asifikiri ati kukosa kupatia watu IDs ati anajisaidia. Ni kuwasha, unawasha moto, because people will be lining up and they want their right, they want their IDs so that they can do their rightful thing. So asiseme anajisaidia. Kwa hivyo mise, I believe that is one tactic that Ruto want to use, and it is not going to work. And if it works, then there will be a lot of chaos in our country. I will promise that. Santeni sana. Santi Mzalendo for the opportunity and time. Thank you.
Wow. Well, thank you, Kenya Maandamano Kamili. You don't disappoint. I just want to tell Mise that approximately 17.5 million Gen Zs are in Kenya as of today. That is just approximately. They could be rising. By 2027, there will be 20 million. And these are people who have gone to college. Gen Zs are not people who without IDs. These are people who have never been interested in Kenyan election. They're being interested only this time round because of what has happened to their fellow friends who have been murdered. Now, guys, thank you for joining us on Afrique 24 as we have delved into the intrigues of world of Kenyan politics. We have explored the recent political cooperation between President William Ruto and Raila Odinga, the challenges of tribalism and the critical steps needed to foster national unity and development. As we wrap up, let's remember that the future of Kenya lies in our hands, and by staying informed, engaged, and united, we can overcome the challenges and build a brighter, more inclusive society in Kenya, and tribalism will be a thing of the past. Don't forget to subscribe on Afrique for more insightful discussions and updates on our latest news, and follow us on X also, and follow us on our page, our web page. I want to thank Mise for coming, and Kenya Maandamano Kamili, and everybody else who was in the comment section. Gypsy Corner, you never disappoint. You've been away for some time, but thank you very much. Betty Koech, make sure that Afrique is your home. Unaweza kuja wakati wowote na tuweze kujenga nchi yetu ya Kenya. Having said that, tomorrow we shall have a show. Mise, please come mapema. I know you are a very busy fellow, but before I wind up, maybe to get to international politics a bit, you have now a new prime minister, a new president or a prime minister?
Should be a prime minister.
Yeah, you have a new prime minister. How is he so far?
Honestly, I've been very busy. I haven't really taken into consideration. But Canadian politics is completely different from the United States politics, and
Mhm.
therefore it's a parliamentary system. Nothing really changes. The Conservatives are basically not pro-immigration, but they are pro-Canadians, pro people who are here already, and the quality of life of the people that are already here than bringing in people. The Liberal government, the Liberal Party, um, are pro-immigration. They always support immigrants and bring in more immigrants, and therefore if you look at from 2020, since the pandemic, they have Canadian population has increased tremendously, and I mean people have been very busy because of the influx of immigration of people to Canada. Canada is a huge country, and therefore the population is much needed for for people for the country to grow, and therefore there will be stalling of immigration to Canada. But again, the truth is whether the conservatives are pro-immigrants or not, immigrants are always needed because there are people who are aging, there are people who are dying, there are people who are moving out of Canada, as well as many other factors. People because of health conditions, they cannot fit into the workforce and so forth. And therefore, I believe that there's balance. There's not much of like the liberals are, but on the other hand, after some time, you come to appreciate the conservative. And plus, our tariffs are on for you guys. You started the war, and we are right now in Ontario. We took off the shelves all the liquor that comes from the United States, and because we are on a trade war, uh, and therefore we are planning to cut off your electricity and so forth and so forth. But every country is trying to flex their muscles to make a statement that your leader belittled a country that is, it's been very good and royal neighbor at all round, and therefore we are trying to protect our sovereignty by ensuring that we voice our opinion and make sure that we remind you that we supply you a lot of food products, lumber, and many other things. And therefore, we need to coexist. You have the population, and we have the resources that you actually need in order to sustain your population. So, pretty much on the international news, our politics, that is what is going in there. And one thing I love about this international politics is that the leaders fight for their own people. They make policies that are meaningful, that are directed towards benefiting the people. It might not be 100%, but at least to a greater extent than where we come from. Leaders are honest and try to follow in implementing the policies and promises that they give, unlike our leaders who give empty promises and they don't end up giving or executing or rolling out those policies. And leaders here are held accountable. You can see that our prime minister was held accountable and pushed, and he had to resign as the prime minister. Otherwise, I still believe that the coexistence of North American agreement, Canada, Mexico, I think they call it now CUSMA or something like that, will still continue because we do need we do not need to coexist. And not only coexisting, it is also a good awakening point for us to start looking for other trading partner and make trading partners like Russia, Japan, China, South America and other areas, because we do have resources to share with them and trade to do with them.
Wow, Mr. That would have been a topic for another day. Thank you for educating us about what Canada is doing, especially on the tariff war. For me, we are just watching we are going to have 4 years of a very bumpy ride. We have got our seatbelts tightened on, and we are on the bumpy ride. Anything can happen with the current president, so we don't want to speculate. Let us see him
Which
dropping
state are you, Mzalendo? Which state are you again?
I'm in Virginia right
Virginia.
now. Yes.
Oh.
So yeah,
I'll be in the US on Friday.
What?
I'll be in Washington DC.
Oh, you'll be in DC on Friday.
Yeah,
This
Friday,
coming
Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, then definitely we'll have a conversation. Where you'll be in DC? Where exactly? Where will you be putting up?
Maybe we can have that.
Oh, we can have a conversation later on the background. All right, yeah. Thank you guys for being part of this conversation. Asanteni sana, and good night, guys in the comment section, Gypsy Corner, and the rest of the gang. Asanteni sana, keep it locked on Africa 24, and see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Mungu nguvu yetu, ilete baraka kwetu, ahimidiwe ngao na mlinzi, na tukae na udugu, amani na uhuru, na tupate na mustawi. Amkeni ndugu zetu, tufanye sote bidii, nasi tujitoe kwa nguvu, nchi yetu ya Kenya tunayoipenda, tuwe tayari kuilinda, na tujenge taifa letu. Ndio wajibu wetu, Kenya istahili heshima, tuungane mikono pamoja kazini, kila siku tuwe na shukrani.